All right, everyone, so here's the review for Module 5's first quiz. I'm going to do one problem from each section, but I'll give you the solutions that you should get, okay? So let's look at this first one here. We have y equals negative x minus 4, and then we have y equals 5x plus 2. So let's look at the first one. We'll do this one. Let's pick some colors. We'll do pink and green for our colors today. So remember, if it's a negative x, it really means a negative 1x. So our slope is a negative 1 over 1 because we always put a nice number over 1. Our y-intercept is our coefficient, is our constant, which is the number by itself. So our y-intercept is negative 4. So we're going to start our graph on the y-intercept at negative 4. Negative 1 means down 1, and then the opposite would be up 1, left 1. There we go. So down 1, right 1, and we continue that until we can't go any further. Then, now we're going to do the opposite movement. So starting at my original point, I go up 1, left 1. And see how it's still making that nice straight line for us? That's what we want. And I know I'm pretty fast at graphing, so feel free to pause the video while you catch up and not mustard. Looking at the next one, the slope is the coefficient of x, so our slope is 5 over 1. We have to make it into a nice fraction. Our y-intercept is 2. So we start at 2 on the y-axis, and this tells me to go up 5, right 1, and that is correct this time. And if I wanted to do the opposite movements, I would go down 5, left 1. So let's see, can we go up 5, right 1? We sure can. However, we can't do that again, so that's where we have to do the opposite movement. So from our original point, we're going to go down 5, left 1, and we'll repeat that again. And once we do, we're going to draw a nice straight line. Our solution, though, or our final answer, is where they cross, which is right here. See where my two dots overlapped? So that x value was a negative 1 and that y value was a negative 3. So we got a negative 1 comma negative 3. In the next problem, you should get no solution, but you make sure you graph everything and show me all the work. Same with this one. You should get infinitely many solutions. Again, graph everything, give me the slope, y-intercept. I want to make sure you know how to do this. Now the table one. So in this first one here, you should get a 1 comma negative 1. I'm going to do the second one here with you. So remember, whenever we have the ones that are in standard form, which is not y equals mx plus b, you always want to use the number 0, 1, 2 on your table, which means we're going to replace x with those numbers one at a time. So I have negative x plus y equals negative 1. If I replace this x with this first one, so we're going to replace this with the first one, we get 0. That minus sign did not go away. The only thing we changed was the x. Now, we don't have to write minus 0. That's like not a thing we do. So really, we're just left with y equals negative 1. So there we go. When x is 0, y is negative 1. Let's do the second one. So now we have x plus y equals negative 1. We're going to replace this with the second number. So I'm going to replace this with 1. But nothing else changed. That negative was still there, plus y equals negative 1. Now I'm going to do some mathy skills from last unit. I need to add 1 on both sides, which leaves me with y equals 2. I'm sorry, no it doesn't. Miss Rawolf, do some math. 0. Now, see how our pattern's going here? Let me do that in pink so it matches. So the next number should be 1 because we were adding by 1s as we went down. So continue that pattern. These are all linear, so they should be the same. Now I'm going to graph this. 0, negative 1 is right here. So we just graphed this guy. Now we have 1, 0. So I'm going to graph that. Oh, look at that. And then we got 2, 1. So I'm going to graph that. And see how it goes up 1, right 1? So I'm going to continue that pattern in both directions so that my line extends all the way through my graph. Okay? I'm going to erase these highlights. Now, let's look at the next guy. So the next guy, we're going to use 0, 1, 2 again. We're going to use the equation, but we're going to replace x this time again. So we got x minus y equals -3. I'm going to replace with this first number, 0. So we got 0 minus y equals -3, which really leaves us with y equals -3. However, we got to get rid of that negative, which is technically a -1 on both sides. So we get y equals a +3. Be careful when you see that negative there, okay? Be so careful. Then we're going to use that equation again. So we got x minus y equals -3, but we're going to replace it with our second number, which is 1. So now we got 1 minus y equals -3. I'm going to put my 1 in front of my y now so I don't make any boo-boo mistakes, or even put it in there earlier so we don't make any boo-boo mistakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract that 1 that x became on both sides. So this leaves us with -1y equals -4. Divide by -1 on both sides, which leaves us with y equals a +4. And again, here's my pattern. Adding by 1 once again. So that means this next one's 5. So let's graph this. So this is 0, 3. So 0, 3 is going to be right here. Then we have 1, 4. So 1, 4 is going to be right here. And then we had 2, 5. Oh, and look at that. So repeat that pattern in the other direction. But because these lines do not cross, that means there is no solution. In the next one, you should get infinitely many solutions. If you don't, something went wrong. Make sure you show all your work, show all your mathy stuff. Next, we got word problems, and I'm going to work on the Miss Jaskunis and Miss Rawolf one. All right, so Miss Jaskunis is making lesson plans before she leaves to have a baby. She already has 1 lesson plan made and wants to make 5/3 of a lesson each day. Ms. Rawolf is making lessons so she can start making videos for credit recovery this summer. She already has 10 lessons made and wants to make 2/3 of a lesson each day. So let's look at Miss J. We'll make Miss J pink. So she already has 1 lesson and wants to make 5/3 each day. So when I write my equation, we have y equals, she's already got 1 and it wants to make 5/3 each day. This and means plus. Now, which one gets the variable? Well, see how we say days on the x-axis? And that says each day after 5/3. So there goes my variable. Let's look at the next one about Ms. R. So she already has 10 made and wants to make 2/3. So we got y equals, she already has 10 made, plus she wants to make 2/3 each day. And there's my variable. Plus, if you make something, you're really like adding on. You know what I mean? So let's graph this. So my y-intercept for Miss J is 1. My slope is 5/3, which means I go up 5, right 3. So starting at 1, I go up 5, right 3, and I repeat that until I can't repeat that anymore. And there goes my line. Now Miss Rawolf, her y-intercept is 10. Her slope is 2/3. And that slope tells us to go up and right. So I start at 10, go up to right 3, and I repeat that until I can't anymore. And I want you to repeat this all the way through on your graph and your quiz tomorrow too. You need to have all your dots and your line. All right, so Miss J and Miss Rawolf crossed right here. So that means we got 9 and we got 16. So in 9 days, they will both have 16 lessons made, okay? In the one about Mr. Poskis and Mr. G, you should get in 5 days, they will both have 9. And you got to show all your work. Same with Miss Bailey and Miss Woods. Miss Bailey and Miss Woods, 5 class periods, they will both have 15 copies. Show all your work, show your graph, show your equations, so I see that you got this answer. All right, that's everything for today. Have a good one, and I'll see you during your quiz.